That's all of them. Not counting mine. Well, I guess I'll just have to wear all of them. It sounds sappy, I know, but... well, it's all I can think to do.
Nothing's easy with the hiss. Is it rude to ask what's inside?
What's inside the pouches?
Too late now.
Now, the story's confidential, but, well, I guess I can tell you, being the director and all. So, the Bureau had heard rumors of a werewolf gathering upstate every full moon. Us being rookies, they sent us to confirm it was bullshit.
Hold on, is he about to tell me werewolves are real?
Turns out, there was an altered item that was creating violent gravitational anomalies during full moons. Oh, man, we nearly did it that night. Well, to remember the occasion, we all bought silver bullets to wear around our necks, just in case we ever ran into another werewolf.
So why did you leave the Rangers?
I thought I could do more good here. And somebody's got to protect the people who protect everybody else, right?
Investigation Order, Class 5. Subject, Blessed Repair and Service. Cause for investigation. The Songmanter Jukebox, OOP-10KE, came to the Bureau's attention through a local radio broadcast regarding Tears Road Dude Diner and the events that transpired there. Every diner reported being temporarily transported to an undetermined location that they later described as a sandy coastline. The Bureau took custody of the object the same day. The diners were told a gas leak was responsible for their imagined beach vacations. In an interview with the diner's owner, it was discovered that the albums in the cabject had been replaced the day before the event by a service responsible for the machine's upkeep, who left only the single record redacted inside. Agents attempted to track down Blessed Repair and Service, but could find no company by that name in the state. Action taken. Blessed Repair and Service has been added to the list of outstanding investigations. Any and all information on this business, its employees, or any known associates should be forwarded to Mr. Redacted in the investigations sector immediately.
Squad Captain Lopez, reporting on Expedition 17B. At the formation now, visually no distinction from the previous visit. The link detectors are still standing. One arch has a light flashing, so we're gonna give the area a once-over. Then we'll head back. Lopez out.
Guess the song ended. Good timing.
Song Master Jukebox. Containment procedure. Item is to be kept in a secure location in the executive sector, as seen in Security Order 239-A. The room must be sealed before usage to prevent unintentional transportation of staff. Description/para-utility. A classic 1950s jukebox made by Songmaster Entertainment Ltd. The jukebox was found with a single record inside, titled A Song for the Others by Reducted. When this record is played in the object, anyone within earshot is translocated for as long as the album is playing. Those involved in the object's first known incident report being transported to a tropical beach, exact location unknown. When this object is used in the oldest house, it only transports users to an area located in the recently manifested quarry threshold. Researchers theorize that this site's unique spatial density results in all transitioning material gravitating to its position, as has been observed with other Bureau equipment. The oldest house's unique nature could also be having an effect on the object. This object is not bound to any known individual. Attempts by Bureau staff to bind it have resulted in reducted and should not be attempted again.
There you are. Did you find those Rangers at the formation?
I found them. But it's not good news. The Hiss got there first. Lots of them.
Another dead team. Jesus. I should have seen this coming. The formation, it's got like a pull to it. Things just end up there. I'm sure you saw all the junk from the Bureau lying around.
There were a lot of Hiss, Arish. I mean, a lot. Did they get pulled in too?
Or they forced their way in. The formation is just a big question mark to us. But who knows? You might even find some useful stuff down there. All I know is we cannot let the Hiss get comfortable.
Sounds like you have a plan.
Uh-huh. A simple one. You need to find more tokens and clear the Hiss the fuck out of the formation.
That is simple.
Oh, and I found a file on the formation while you were gone. You take a look for yourself if you want. A lot of the terms in there are way beyond me. I don't like to overcomplicate these situations. When in doubt, fuck it. Shoot something, right?
Real helpful, Arish.
I try.
I'll see you later.
You know where I'll be.
Examination of paranatural topics. Interwoven causality of the formation. Summary. The formation is a tall stone structure found in Quarry Site Beta, only reachable by placing distinct tokens into the jukebox object of power. See OOP-10 case file for details. The formation's exact purpose is redacted, but we can at least examine its relationship with the redacted surrounding it. Measuring devices found trace evidence of redacted at certain lines running from the formation to the redacted. When examined properly, 4 direct ritual tethers were detected. Some form of sympathetic causality connects the formation with the redacted, which means, in theory, that when certain redacted are performed at one, it will physically affect the other. I've been urged to note here that some individuals believe the formation responds to any fulfillment of purpose or desire in nearby individuals, though I'd like to remind those individuals that we're the parakinesiology department, not the para-feelings department. I'm proud to report that my team was able to design, construct, and install a permanent detection system. These arches will help Rangers identify when the causal tethers are active, allowing them to better redact it.
Oh, I can't believe the emergency rations don't include beer. Getting thirsty.
Closes the Hiss dimension, and she expects a pat on the back? We're still in lockdown, for Christ's sake.
Even if it was a dream, I feel Darling reached out to me through the hotline. I have a feeling he and Trench won't be the only callers from the beyond. Problem in the Foundation. That was Auti's vacation spot. We need to check this out.
quiet, trans-dimensional. This place really suits Ahti. So that etching is the door. Okay, let's try opening it. No time for sightseeing. The board said this was an emergency. Looks like no one's been down here in a while. Crystals are kind of pretty. Emily would be having a field day down here.
My life's been a strange one. Certainly stranger than I'd like. But this place, it's something else. The floors crawl, the walls slither. It's a shifting pit. On the street, it's just another drab building standing there for anyone to see. But no one does. How do we miss it? Northmore. Acting director in Northmore now is on a train from Washington. He'll expect answers, which is why I'm making these tapes. They're evidence that I'm at least trying to understand. Father searched his entire life for something like this, and we find it 1 week after he's buried. He always hated irony. Of course, Father, the great director, Ash, would have been the first man in. And look at me. His bookworm son, the supposed head of research who can't stop his legs from shaking long enough to step over the threshold.
What's that light?
Foundation. Bottom of the oldest house. Stop the hiss.
Marshall? How was she on the hotline? Unless she's dead. Jesus. She seemed like the kind of woman who could survive anything.
I only heard of the Foundation when I became head of operations. The very bottom of the oldest house. Director access only. Just the name alone is classified. Zachariah gave me a tour the day I was promoted. Said I should see it for myself, to understand. After that, I snuck down on my own from time to time to keep tabs on the place, and on them. But nothing ever changed down there. Not even the walls. It's solid, permanent, different from the rest of the house. Of course, they were always watching me. I never stayed long. I'm not stupid. I have to stop the hiss from finding this place. I'm the only one who can.
The hiss found their way down here too.
on art and time. At first thought, the cave paintings in the Foundation chronicled an ancient human's encounters with mahanal occurrences, like weather, light, and soon became here they clipped events far outside the average human experience. Also, I seem to be wrong to assume the images are ancient. Radiocarbon dating suggests something impossible, that I've been down here longer than the paintings. That's absurd, though. The style and medium clearly indicate a Paleolithic origin. I was ready to conclude that an ancient community of humans lived in or around the oldest house. Now, with this formation, I don't know what to think. Is one of our agents drawing these, or is there someone down here with us? The place has a habit of skewing my results, so perhaps the data corrupted. Or perhaps some paintings were created at different times. The art does seem to chronicle not only the past, but also the present, and possibly even the future. I see in them echoes of the board, some inward architecture, even what could be interpreted as a director. Are the paintings telling a story that's still being written? Who is writing it? Field research on Hiss entity, Hiss sharpened agent. Confidential. Summary: Hiss sharpened agents display the para-utilitarian ability to rapidly move short distances. This ability is unique in the fact that it's not associated with any known object of power. However, we should not discount the possibility that this ability is an object variation. For example, abrupt physical relocation, APR, could potentially be a variant of the jukebox's effect. Other explanations of the Hiss sharpens ability currently include A. Momentary time manipulation, B. Brief increase in physical speed, C. Inhibiting the witness's sense of sight. If we do accept that the Hiss sharpens ability is not connected to a known object of power, then the Hiss are either manifesting unique paranatural abilities, or there are objects in the house that we aren't aware of. Either way, the Hiss are continuing to develop new strains of corruption, and that is cause for concern. You missed the good news. I'm sure the official memo will go out soon, but Northmore called an all hands at the crossroads to announce we're finally moving out of this hellhole and up into the house proper. Bureau brass apparently solved the moving walls problem, or at least figured out a way to pinpoint where and when they happen. All I know is going up means goodbye darkness, goodbye weird lunches with that ex-Nan scientist, and goodbye pissing into the pit. I know that was you, Barry. Northmore's ordering the Foundation sealed as soon as we can haul our stuff out, and somehow convince Ash to come with us. He's the only one kicking up a fuss. This is long overdue. We've lost 11 men and damn near $10,000 in supples moving between the entrance and the Foundation. For what? Research? Ash is batty if he thinks we want to stay here and sift through more sand for him. It's just rusted iron flakes anyway. Did you know that? We were breathing that shit in. Mr. Whiter, I have some bad news. You remember that Robert Ricardo fella we brought in as a special consultant to map the lower caves? Well, today he found a chamber with weird eyes covering every inch of the walls, and a strange black pillar in the center. Kind of looks like the one at the crossroads, but smaller. We had a Bureau member shadowing him, but whatever happened in there did a number on our guest. The docs are taking a look, but it's pretty clear Mr. Adventure's exploring days are over. I know we were careful to limit this guy's exposure to the non-ordinary. Drugging him and carrying him through the upper floor was a real hoot, by the way. But we really need to reevaluate our policies on external contractors. Honestly, we'd be better off forming a special division trained in rappelling and orienteering than subjecting more outsiders to the shit we deal with. They almost always end up dead or loony.
The astral plane is cutting into our dimension. What if this happens in the upper floors? It'll destroy the Bureau.
Field research on astral entity, astral copy. Confidential. Summary. With the astral plane now physically accessible, a torrent of new information has been collected on the entities known as astral copies. The copies' bodies are composed of a dense, stone-like material that is both resilient under controlled circumstances and brittle when struck with significant force, as seen in Report 8-11-1633 for full composition analysis. Whether the astral copies possess individual consciousness or are directed by a higher intelligence, such as the board, remains unknown. However, their shared aggression seems to indicate a unified goal. Director Faden's encounters with these entities, when binding objects of power in the astral plane, indicate they serve as live targets for potential para-utilitarians to practice on. Some have been equipped with Bureau weaponry, though it seems unlikely they were armed by our personnel. It is important to note that they appear immune to Hiss corruption.
I brought Emily with me. I could really use my head of research right about now. Marshall? Marshall! You're alive! Wait! It's Jesse! The director! Whoa, this place is huge. Marshall? Can you hear me? She was on the hotline, so that person couldn't have been Marshall, right? One problem at a time. Let's see what's going on with that pillar first.
It's been 5 days since we first entered the building. Traversing the interior is dangerous due to the shifting, But we did manage to find a lower cavern that seems structurally predictable, which is a scientific way of saying its walls won't crush us in our sleep. Northmore even made a discovery. A pistol placed on a stone pedestal in front of that strange ebony pillar. Seems like something out of a storybook, except the heroes usually find swords, not handguns. But it is the perfect lure for someone like him. Hours after finding this weapon, Northmore cornered me to spout some nonsense about how the board had made him the director. He ranted about the title being meaningless before now, calling Father and all other previous directors shams, frauds, and worse. I think this place is worse for Northmore than it is for me. Strangest thing? There was no pedestal in front of that pillar a day ago. This building has swallowed a dozen of my men, and now it's handing out presents? Is it playing some sort of game? If it is, we're most certainly losing. Hell, we don't even know the rules.
Field research on astral entity, astral copy. Confidential. Summary. With the astral plane now physically accessible, a torrent of new information has been collected on the entities known as astral copies. The copies' bodies are composed of a dense, stone-like material that is both resilient under controlled circumstances and brittle when struck with significant force, as seen in Report 8-11-1633 for full composition analysis. Whether the astral copies possess individual consciousness or are directed by a higher intelligence, such as the board, remains unknown. However, their shared aggression seems to indicate a unified goal. Director Faden's encounters with these entities, when binding objects of power in the astral plane, indicate they serve as live targets for potential para-utilitarians to practice on. Some have been equipped with Bureau weaponry, though it seems unlikely they were armed by our personnel. It is important to note that they appear immune to Hiss corruption. Field research on astral entity, astral copy. Confidential. Summary. With the astral plane now physically accessible, a torrent of new information has been collected on the entities known as astral copies. The copies' bodies are composed of a dense, stone-like material that is both resilient under controlled circumstances and brittle when struck with significant force, as seen in Report 8-11-1633 for full composition analysis. Whether the astral copies possess individual consciousness or are directed by a higher intelligence, such as the board, remains unknown. However, their shared aggression seems to indicate a unified goal. Director Faden's encounters with these entities, when binding objects of power in the astral plane, indicate they serve as live targets for potential para-utilitarians to practice on. Some have been equipped with Bureau weaponry, though it seems unlikely they were armed by our personnel. It is important to note that they appear immune to Hiss corruption.
So I can only choose one? I thought I was done with these tests. Okay, let's review. This broken pillar is called the Nail. It was broken by something, and now the astral plane is bleeding into the foundation, which will destroy the oldest house, the bureau, and everyone inside. I need to find 4 locks, or keys, or whatever, to stop that from happening. But I'm the director. I've handled worse. This should be simple-ish. You with me?
On the history of the oldest house. The oldest house has revealed much to me during my months in the Foundation, but many questions remain. Primarily, the tree etchings bewilder me. What is their significance? If the house has changed shape over its lifetime as I've theorized, then was a tree its first form? I sent a team to the Schwartzman building in search of pre-settlement accounts of Manhattan Island. From those, I discovered a single relevant line, and there I found a tree not known to me, the devil twisted within its bark. That line, taken with the fact that certain American cultures believed some trees would offer wisdom and guidance, is indeed interesting. However, it's hardly firm evidence, and though I am now bound to the oldest house, I remain a man of science. Of course, there are numerous ancient beliefs regarding trees. Yggdrasil, the tree of knowledge, Yax Imix Che. Some cultures offered blood sacrifices to trees, while others claimed trees endowed chosen individuals with inhuman powers. Do New York City's many murders act as sacrifice for the oldest house? Does the house have a chosen champion? Is it me? On the pyramid and geometry. I've been going through my library researching pyramids and triangles. If that shape does relate to the board, as Northmore says, then perhaps our predecessors in the occult can offer some insight through their geometric knowledge. In esotericism, the triangle is closely associated with the Holy Trinity and other three-part concepts: past, present, future, mind, body, spirit. Interestingly, the term board also implies multiple parts. Upright triangles in Judeo-Christian imagery indicate ascent into the rational or divine realm. Inverted, it signifies a descent into the corporeal or human. Naturally, the ascent is masculine and the fall is feminine. Adam and Eve, that's just a bit of old-world patriarchy. It's 1964 now, and we're well past that silliness. Considering the above, what does the inverted triangle tell us about the board? They're clearly not corporeal or human. Perhaps they wish to be, or they once were. The likeliest answer is simply that theological imagery cannot help us define alien entities. But still, the pyramid seems significant. Shapes have power, and clearly so does the board.
Is this a Bureau ID badge? It looks so old. Hope will definitely want to see this. Weird place to leave an ID card, but okay.
Meteor Hill, AWE 3. Note, per archival mandates 8.a, this document has been edited to meet current administrative standards. Certain terminology may be outdated. Event Summary. This paradimensional occurrence consisted of 3 successive sinkholes induced by subterranean implosions, revealing foreign material of magmatic qualities. Event Response. A local chapter of the Youth Science League were participating in an archaeological dig on the hill when the event occurred. Many boys were injured in the resulting collapse. Some touched the magma directly. Bureau agents arrived at the scene 7 days after the incident. Samples of the lava-like material were taken. The area was quickly sealed off from the public at our recommendation. Our aim was to ensure all remnants of the material were rendered unoffensive, but the magma descended too deeply into the earth to retrieve. Foul-smelling odors were detected in the area, which were hypothesized being the dissipated elements vapor trail left at the scene. All acquired material was delivered to Washington for examination in the Bureau's on-site laboratories.
Another ID card. For a cartographer. Another one of those ID cards. Security chief.
Days now spent inside what we're calling the oldest house. Northmore insists on the name. I'm too tired to ask why. I'm not sleeping well. Per orders, me and my research team have established a permanent examination lab in the Foundation. I basically live down here now, like the obedient head of research Father raised me to be. I spend my days investigating that odd pillar where Northmore found the handgun. The work was half-hearted at first, I admit. But then I discovered numerous non-Aristotelian energy channels converging at its base. Ley lines, dragon roads, Hylogalinian, call them what you want. But this pillar is the crossroads. I started building something. Equal parts talisman and technology. An array that can impose order on the ley junctions. That's the idea, at least. We'll see when I'm done. I prefer to work away from the pillar. I'm not the only one who feels like that thing has eyes.
On the invention of the power core. After numerous attempts, I've finally found a way to intercept and contain the ambient energy of the ley lines in a kind of non-Aristotelian battery I've dubbed the power core. I admit it was difficult capturing an energy I can barely measure, much less interact with. Luckily, it seems that the porous stone of the Foundation's caverns possesses such conductive qualities. Using stone flakes and copper wire, my power cores collect significant power. My early prototypes collected too much, in fact, but I've since reinforced the container. Dr. Theodore Ashe, Head of Research. Director Broderick Northmore. We don't yet know the repercussions of tapping into this power field. As a precaution, these devices should not be taken outside of the house. Ideally, the Bureau should no longer need to rely on typical energy sources. It's my greatest feat of engineering yet. I've always had an interest in invention. I liked the creativity that it allowed, set within the firm boundaries of logic and physics. Father never approved, calling it a mundane science. With that in mind, I dedicate this invention to Theodore Ashe Sr. May he scowl in peace.
Entry day plus 51. Northmore has ordered an all-hands search for objects similar to the service weapon. He claims there are more in the house, though I don't see how he's so certain. He's been strange lately, talking about joining greater causes, and frequently mentioning the pyramid. After pressing him, he finally described this pyramid to me. Inverted, black, mathematically perfect. Oddly enough, Adam and the other id have shown me numerous inverted triangles painted on the cave walls. Surely there's a connection, but I don't see it yet. As far as occult symbols go, triangles are by no means rare. Flood, Levi, Kroll, they used that shape like it was going out of fashion. Standing on their base, triangles signify stability and strength. Inverted on their points, they represent conflict and stagnation. Of course, the orientation is just a matter of perspective. Looking at the pyramid from below gives you one, from above another. Northmore says he looks up at the inverted pyramid. I have to wonder, Is anyone standing over it, looking down?
From the desk of Director Northmore. Frank, I have reviewed your report of my latest medical. I was disappointed to see that you believe my connection to the service weapon and the board are products of delusion brought on by the stresses of leadership. You witnessed my feats firsthand. You yourself declared my body temperature impossible. These are no delusions. They are the product of divine collaboration. The board has awoken in me a power beyond your understanding, and that power will only continue to grow. Your job is simply to ensure that I survive my gift, and with absolute discretion. To that end, my gifts are best used with a degree of mystery that your needles and probes betray. No further medicals shall be required. I forbid you to speak of this matter with your colleagues, especially Dr. Ash. Under no circumstances do I want him involved. Keep your mouth shut and keep me alive. The board knows what I have become, and theirs is the only opinion that counts. Sincerely, Director Broderick Northmore.
Not sure she's ready.
I'm here, aren't I? I saved the Bureau once, and I'll do it again.
I've served under 2 directors. 3 now, I suppose. Trench and I worked our way up together. We made it through the tough cases, the bad days, the casualties. He was the epitome of a good agent. Smart, decisive, selfless. And he picked up that damn gun. Becoming director is a formal process overseen by the board. Lots of ritual and mystery. After that, key staff provide detailed briefs on all classified matters, past and present. But with Faden, well, there's no protocol for field promotion. The girl's smart, has a good head on her shoulders. I'm trusting her to handle the hiss upstairs, while I hold them off here. All this shit with the nail, the board, I'm not sure she's ready. Besides, I work better alone.